Hello friends, welcome to Craft Club. I am Miss Marie and today we are going to make fairies for our fairy house. And it is going to be a very, very nice thing for the fairies to be able to move into their fairy house. With a dragon's egg outside, I wonder if we're gonna hatch a dragon anytime soon. And our magic mushrooms are sitting right outside being beautiful. So let's get started and make our fairies so they can move into their house. So we have paint, red paint, glue, and here are the beautiful fairies. We have a little butterfly, we have some thread for the sewing and a needle, and here are our peg dolls. We have the coat and the hat, the fabric, and we have some scissors, paintbrush, paper towel, and some water to clean our brush with. And then we have the stick for the glue. So we'll start with painting. Love this blue, so we're just going to spread the paint on our peg doll, and we're not going to paint the head because we don't need to. It sort of has already, the wood already has like a face color, I think, so we don't need to paint that. So just spread the paint all around. That, and finish up on this side. And then we have under here, so we don't see any of the wood. Just spread it around, spread it around, so you don't see any of the wood. Now we don't need to put any paint under, I don't think. And then here up at the head, be careful to paint a straight line right under the head here, like that. Very good. And now we can have that sit and dry over here. And clean your brush. And then we'll open the red paint. Put the blue paint away. And then we'll paint this one red. These are going to be very nice fairies that are going to enjoy living in that fairy house we made a few weeks ago. Paint all around, and then here on the bottom, so that we don't see any of the wood. And this is acrylic paint, so I would suggest that you have a smock on when you're doing the painting so that the paint doesn't get on your clothes, because it's very difficult to wash out this paint. I always wear a smock when I am painting because I learned from my mistakes. I had paint splatter on my favorite shirt. That was not a good idea. So I have learned from my mistakes. So I always wear a smock when I am painting. Okay. And there we go. Now we can put that there to dry and wash the brush out and dry it off on the paper towel. Put the paint away, and then I have prepared, so I already have two dolls that are already dry, And so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to sew the hat. And we have a blue hat. That's the one that looks like a triangle, not the one that looks like a smile. So here we have the hat. So I think we're going to start with a red one. So you take your thread and your needle, and you thread your needle, and I've already done that ahead of time, so I have it ready right here. And if you have a hard time threading the needle, you can ask an adult to help you. And then at the very end of the thread, I make a knot, and I do that by twirling it around my finger and then twirling around like that, and then just pushing down. And I'm sure any adult can help you with that, or maybe you even know how to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold our triangle in half, and then as we're holding on to it, we're just going to start sewing. There, and you can sew, the stitches can be pretty close together. I would say 1/8 of an inch. And then we'll just sew up the side. It's really fun to know how to sew. So if you haven't sewn before, take your time. It can be frustrating a little bit because the thread gets tangled and all that, but don't give up. It's really fun to know how to sew by hand. There. My grandmother taught me how to sew. She was a seamstress, and I would go and stay with her in the summertime, and she would sew doll clothes for my doll, but she wanted me to sit there and watch her as she was sewing. So I learned how to sew both by hand, and then I also learned how to use her sewing machine. That was really fun. Okay, so coming up to the very top. Good. And then when we're done, all I'm doing is I have a loop out here, stick the needle through the loop and pull. Do that one more time. Here's the loop. You don't pull it all the way through. You stick the needle in the loop and then you just pull it. And then you will cut in there. And that is our hat. Okay, so we are going to glue the hat on our doll. So let's open up the glue container that you have in your bag. And then here's the stick. And so let's just paint some glue onto the head like that. Okay, put that aside. And then we'll take the hat and we'll glue that on. Oh, it fits perfect. Look at that. Okay, good. So we have the hat on. And I already sewed the blue hat, but you should have a blue hat and a red hat in your bag. And I've already sewn this one, so we're ready to glue that one on too. So let's spread some glue on the blue fairy's head. There, just right on top of it, like that. And then we'll fit the hat on there, like that. Push down a little bit. Yeah. Okay, oh, I like the colors. That is so pretty. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put on the fairy robe. So for this, I am going to put glue on the fabric instead of on the doll. So let's just put glue all around here. And the glue, when it's dry, you really can't see it. So if you spill a little bit of glue someplace, it's not gonna matter on the doll because it dries there. I think that's enough. So let's see if we can pick up the doll and put his robe on. Like that. And then we fold it over like that. And then we fold it over like that. Oh, that looks good. Okay, that's the fairy's robe. Hopefully that will stick. Very good. And then we are going to do the same thing with the red. Put glue all over it. That's good. And then we sort of lay the fairy down on it. Careful not to take the hat off. And then the robe comes around that way, and the robe comes around the other way, like that. Very good. I think we need a glob of glue right there so that it glues together. And then it might be that you have to sit and hold that for a bit so that it dries. There. Very good. Yeah, that is a little bit tricky to get that to dry. Now, you can sit and hold that until it dries and add as much glue as you need to. But I already have some fairies done over here. Oops, the green one fell down. I like the green one. I like the pink one. I like all the colors. So now we are going to, oh, I forgot, we're gonna add the eyes. So let's pick up this guy. And I think this fairy is going to have blue eyes. So I take the tip of my paintbrush. If your paintbrush tip here is very, very large, just take a pencil or something and dip it into the paint. And then, let's see, we'll make two eyes here. 1, 2, just with the back of the paintbrush. And he's got some blue eyes. I think fairies have blue eyes. And then this one. And mine hasn't dried yet, but you can sit and hold the shirt there so that it dries. So let's put the eyes on. You just dab it, dab, and dab, just with the back of the paintbrush. There you go. Our fairy's got blue eyes. Very nice. Let me wipe that off on the paper towel. And now, in your bag, you have a little butterfly, and we're going to attach that to our fairy. And it's on a little bit of a metal strand wire. So we're just going to insert it into, actually I think you have to wait until it has dried. So you will just insert that into the fabric, and that should do it. And then here we have our fairy holding on to the butterfly. I have added some acorn hats in your bag because if you're not familiar with sewing and it's really frustrating and hard, I think we can use acorns for hats. And then all you do is you put some glue on the fairy's head. And then you just stick the acorn on there. And then you have a very special hat. Good job crafting today.